Be vertical. Stand vertical. Be vertical. Don't put the cross of suffering on the vertical body. This is man-made, and you will always suffer when you put the cross on the vertical. This, remember, is the human mind and emotions. This is the past, that's the future. The present is in between. You cannot, it is absolutely impossible to think about the present. You cannot think about the present. You can think in the present, but then the present disappears and you're thinking about the past. But you cannot think about the present. You can only be present. And that means no thought. That means vertical. As soon as you think one single thought, even if it was about your home, bang, you're going to suffer. Because you're thinking about the past, because our home is in the past. Because you can't show me your home now. You can't show me your children now unless you were to look to the side, and there they were. But if you didn't look to the side, you cannot show me your children. You have to be vertical. While you give into this demon thinking, you will always suffer, because all thought leads to thoughts about my problems and my unhappiness and my guilt and resentment. So you have to be strong enough or innocent enough to drop the Christian cross of suffering, boom, and stand holy. Well, that's not difficult. You're standing vertical now. It's not difficult. I want to demonstrate it in your experience. You're not falling off the chair. You're not going mad. You're utterly there without one thought necessary. Travelling up out of the depths of the impersonal subconscious at a velocity greater than the speed of light, the energy of the spaceships and their crews enters the much slower time of the personal subconscious of the people about to see the spacecraft. Here in the personal subconscious, beneath our surface minds and memory, the pure energy of the space visitors, pure energy, not forms, is converted by the brain into recognizable sensory forms stored from past experience. So you see, this is that intermediate world. Now, the intermediate world, which is equivalent with death, is a faster speed of intelligence. When you die, when your body dies, your intelligence is going to be much swifter. And because you are burdened, we are all burdened by a projection. A tremendous energy is being used here to maintain this sensory body, which is so cumbersome, so slow, so mechanical, so robotic. And it takes enormous energy for the resources in any body to sustain this body. And as soon as it is removed from the intelligence is immediately, by the way of things, speeded up. And I then, because of that speed, not because of dying, but because of the speed of the intelligence, reveals a totally new state of consciousness. Only because of the speed of the intelligence. Now, it is possible to go beyond death in the speed of intelligence. So we're going down the vertical, right? So you die there, and you get rid of the body, the physical burden, and the speed of intelligence is such that you are then entered a new state of perception, which I'm not going to describe. It is possible to go beyond that and get faster and faster, because these states of after death is still within the speed of light. The immediate after-death survival that you hear about from people is still within the speed of light. As you go deeper and deeper, this is all measured by the speed of light. All the intermediate worlds immediately there where you hear someone has seen Jesus, or someone has come back from death and seen the devil, or somebody has met their mother and their father. That is all in an intelligence, a realm of intelligence that is still not faster than the speed of light. So therefore it is limited by certain past. So if you see your mother and your father when you're dead, there's no doubt about it, they'll be in the past, because your mother and father are always in the past, aren't they? Except when they're in front of you, then they're in the present. But if you are dead and you see your mother and father who were on earth, they're obviously in the past. So your intelligence is still not beyond the speed of light. Now when you put something beyond the speed of light, right? If I go faster than the speed of light, if I wanted to send a message to the nearest star, which is 4.5 light years away, travelling at what we call the speed of light, it would still take 4.5 years. Because what science thinks is the speed of light is not the speed of light at all. It's still too slow. If it were travelling a message, if I was going to ask a question in a message to the furthest star, before I asked the question, I'd have the answer. That's the speed of light. Beyond the speed of light, there's no question, because before you can mouth the question, you've got the answer. That's what happens in me. Didn't I tell you I have no questions about love, life, truth, death, and God? And the whole human race is always asking questions about those. But I have no questions about those because my consciousness moves faster than the speed of light. And when you move faster than the speed of light, you have no questions about those matters. Are you getting me? Now that's down here. These visitors from these other places have to come at enormous speed, which is beyond the speed of light. And this impulse in your psyche, we're not talking about some other psyche, we're talking about the human psyche of which you are a hair. The human psyche is like that, and you're a hair standing up on it like I am. That's all. And you are connected to the entire whole. So these visitors, by an energetic, the same as you get a good idea, don't you? You can wake up in the night and say, got it, I got a great idea, and then you go and right, and bring it into existence and all the rest of it. Well, where's that come from? Where does your sudden idea come from? It comes from the subconscious and the unconscious. So I'm talking about something now that comes from the subconscious and unconscious, right? That is very, very intelligent. That travels at enormous speed, which is beyond the speed of light, and it travels in up through the subconscious where we're so dense as it comes into the subconscious that it keeps breaking its speed down. Boom, 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 boom. And despite its enormous speed, it comes into existence through our brains, and there you see the apparition, the appearance of this extraordinary energy. Only now it can't travel at the speed of light because it has entered less than the speed of light where we live. We live in the past here. Everything here takes time to ask a question to get the answer. Takes time for the light to come from there to here. Everything, we live in the past. So when these visitors manifest sensorily in this existence, they cannot maintain a presence here for long. Because it's too alien, there's too much past here. Nothing that is present can maintain itself here for long. It has to devour the past. See, the present devours the past. So any of these people who have seen a UFO, who've truly seen one, and been amazed at what they've seen, and truly used the moment to go within and see, my God, this is incredible. What I am seeing is beyond all reference, all human reference that we have heard. God Almighty, this is incredible. And if we were still enough to just do that and be absolutely amazed at what I am seeing, that devours some past in me, emotion, some distortion of love in me, some absence of presence, makes me more present. It should make me, it should clear me out, because that's an extraordinary, extraordinary experience which very few people are able to have. But what happens? The people then start to talk about it with their minds. They haven't been informed by science or anyone about the great grace of being able to see one of these things, or being, to use it like you use making love, to use it utterly and completely, sensationally, to purify your own sluggish, turgid, terrible emotions and self, to use it rightly. Who's telling the people how to use it rightly? You can read all the books on UFOs and all the UFOologists and that, and they don't know a thing about it. For I am E.T.I. I am that. I know all about extraterrestrial intelligence. I know all about UFOs, but I can only reveal what I can reveal. And by God, I've endeavored to do my best. As one guy wrote to me, and he said, "You've certainly tacked your colours to the masthead." Well, sure I have. I'm a spiritual teacher, right? I have a great following of people who see the truth that I speak, and here I am suddenly trotting out UFOs. You know, I must be demented. I must be stupid. But then you all know I'm not stupid. I'm a very, very practical man, down to earth. So how can I be talking about these things? Because I am it. I am it. Just like you are it. Except that you have not yet realized that you are it. Intelligence without a form. That's what you are here for. But you are realizing it more and more. Yes.